evening, folks. I'm Elijah McEwen here beside Phil Hoffman. We're here at North on 29, right outside Carleton Place, Ontario. And today we've got with us an act performing here tonight, the one and only Hawksley Workman.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to LBC.
Thank you. What does LBC stand for?
Live between commercials.
Ah,
That's what we are.
Okay, yeah. That's what we all are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Hawksley, you got a new album coming out here soon.
Yeah. Do I ever? You're the first one that I've even mentioned anything about that. Another record. Because that's what the world needs.
Yeah, well.
They were one shy, and I thought, well, I'm pretty much ready to come in and save the day, so I got a record in me.
And so what can we expect from that?
Oh, it's a pretty good record, to be honest with you. It just was sort of finished, and literally this week, final mixes were coming in, and there's some songwriting, and there's some song making, and there's some I think the record was a real chance for me to try and feel wild, you know. I think with Mounties, the other rock band I started in the last couple of years, I really felt a renewed vigor when it came to putting energy into music. And this is record number 15, I think, or 16. And, you know, that's a lot of records. It's a lot of time spent, you know, in a silly business called the music business. And so, but the record will come out in May, and we're already getting a full summer of festivals, and the big Canadian tour will happen in the fall.
Do you think working on your new album, after working with Mounties, has that brought a new level to the new album?
Totally. I mean, I made the record with Steve Bass, who's one of my guys in Mounties, and Ryan Dahl played on it as well, but it was really, I think I took that exuberant, childlike, boyish excitement that I've been able to sort of finagle out of this whole Mounties experience and channel it into new music. I don't think you expect that, you know, when you're middle-aged, everything in the entertainment business is telling you you're too bloody old and too bloody funny looking, so get out of the way and let the new 18-year-old pretty person in, because it's a, you know, it's a visual-based medium.
Yeah.
So anyway, for some reason or another, I've been given this opportunity to feel all fresh and brand new again, and I'm hoping that that's how cycles just go, you know. I think that everybody has cycles in their life, whether it's cycles in your marriage or relationship cycles with your job or with your family. Like, there's always high points and low points, and I sort of feel right now I'm in a real love affair with the music business again, and with my own music, and two, you know, with writing the musical The God That Comes a few years ago, and I toured the heck out of that for the last couple of years too, and kind of that continues to take me around the world. And this year it's slowed a little bit, but we're still doing a good few weeks of it, and it's looking like we'll go to New Zealand, Australia, and maybe Hong Kong. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird being a 40-year-old man in an 18-year-old man's business and still feeling like I've got something to say, you know. And I think that's why we all are so interested. Like when a guy like Neil Young or Bruce Cockburn or Leonard Cohen or anybody who's sort of been around a while still puts out records or, you know, writing or music or whatever, and it's like, wow, intensified commercial
That's intense.
drive. Yeah, that's
So this episode that we're working on at LBC, this is our Oscar special.
Oh wow.
And yeah, we're, you know, let's glorify that a little more.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
It doesn't get enough attention.
No.
Yeah.
But really, you've had the chance to work in a couple of movies. We've got Score, we've got Still Mine.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you tell us the experiences that went along with those?
Well, making movies is pretty interesting. They move really, really slow. There's a lot of people involved. It's very fascinating and strange, and yeah, I mean, Canadian film is interesting too, I guess. For me, on the Score movie, I wrote a lot of the soundtrack, or at least a quarter of it, I think, and then just by being around, they thought it might be fun to put me in the movie, and then that when I did the Still Mine movie, I had like a few different scenes that most of the scenes I was in got cut except for one little bit of one, and so that's interesting when you show up for a day and do stuff like when the thing you do is not doesn't end up being used yet. In music we don't have that very much. Like in movies it's a lot about going out and gathering as many beaver pelts as you can and hoping that you're going to be able to piece together, you know, a garment large enough to keep you warm for winter, whereas in music, like, you're building with this sort of incremental approach where you're hearing how the song evolves with everything you add. It's like, well, I add one more guitar and then the song gets that much deeper, add another voice, and then all of a sudden the landscape of the sonic landscape starts to evolve into a way that you can really, you know, you can see grow as it happens. Where the movie, like, you do all of this reconnaissance and then you put it all together at a later date. And so I think a lot of the times, I think that having seen the process of movies now, when you see a real bad movie that by all accounts should have been good cast, seemingly good writing, seemingly decent directing, I think that there's just so much going on, so many balls to juggle, such a slow process, so much happening without you being able to take a full inventory of what you have. And then I think that's why, you know, movies that on paper look like they should be good can go so disastrously wrong, is that you don't really get to see it happening. It's all after the actors have all flown home and all of the crew has all moved on to a new job. I think you sitting there with the director and some editors going, wow, like we missed a lot of stuff, or oh my God, this movie just by accident has exceeded, you know, its potential from a writing perspective or a directorial perspective, because we somehow captured all this magic. I think film is interesting in that way. I think it could kind of go either way when all is said and done.
So, relating back to the new album coming out, throughout, you know, your career, you've had a lot of different you know, influences and sounds. How would you relate this one to, you know, your past? If we could compare it to something, what would you say it sounds the most like?
Well, I sent it off to my long-time trusted radio guys the other day, and the word back from them was they said, it's a true to form Hawksley Workman record, except more consistent, which from what I can sort of, from where I'm coming from, it sort of feels like it goes back to Delicious Wolves days. It's a little bit sassy, it's definitely precocious, but definitely is filtered through, you know, a 40-year-old guy's head in a lot of ways, but also somebody who feels pretty free with music. And I think it is rowdy, but I think that there's been a lot of, Steve put a lot of attention into how the record would feel as a consistent landscape. So I think it sounds like the old me, but with a little bit more focus and a little bit more, gravity.
And is there a song that over the course of your career you've grown to really just not be able to play it anymore live? You know, it's a lot of artists have their songs that they just can't stand anymore after time. And what would that be for you?
You know, I've always, whenever this question comes up in an interview that I'm watching of some other artist, and I hear them bellyache about how they don't want to play this, they don't want to play that. Like, it seemed for a while there I was catching a lot of Shania Twain interviews, and all she was doing was bemoaning her loathsome career and how awful it was to be her. Yeah. And I've always thought, what a bunch of BS. But now that I've had, you know, 15 or 16 years, I must admit there are songs I don't care to play, and they are songs that, you know, paid a lot of my bills. And I must admit, playing Striptease is still, some nights it feels really good, and a lot of it is that it's such a successful recording, insofar as the groove is right, and the textures are right, and the parts are right. And I remember writing and recording that song and knowing right away, it was like, I feel this is going to make me money, like I just feel it. And I feel like we've never nailed it live, and for that reason it's always been a bit of like a, all right, let's play the song that people know, except it's going to not ever quite it's one of those, I always feel like my career has been a lot of people saying like, it'd be so cool if you could capture what you do live and put it on record, and me going, oh God, again. And then there's these few moments where the recordings are far superior to what I can do live, and I think that's one of those ones where it's not that I've it's like satisfaction, I just played it too much. It's that the recording seems to live terminally as a more successful piece of output than whenever we try to do it live. And so it's more frustration, like, jeepers, we phoned in a B- again on that one. I'm like, ugh. Anyway.
Striving for that A+.
Yeah, always.
So we've got a new album coming, festival circuit coming,
Fall
tour coming.
Yeah, the new record I'm really excited about. It's called Old Cheetah. It's got 11 songs on it, and I don't know. I've never spent this long without a new record either. For a long time I was putting 2 records a year out, which, everybody around me loathed that. Like all my business partner people were all like, God, you're making everybody sick. And it's like, I know, but I have nothing else to do. So it's been 3 or 4 years. It's pretty neat. New record, tour, excitement.
It's a crazy time.
Push-ups. Yeah.
And so what? How can you not be? Well, thank you, Hawksley.
Thank you, you guys.
Great day.
Thanks for coming out in the snow. Take
Thanks,
care.
Hawksley
Thank you.
Workman, North
Yeah.
29.
North of 29. Take care, everybody out there at Kajiko Land. And more local TV. Don't give in to mass-produced entertainment products. This is the truth. The other stuff is a lie. Trust me.
I am the truth.